next or a prediction video for UFC 284, Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. So, Jared, do you want to start? We'll go from early prelims all the way to the main event, starting with name I can't pronounce and Alvis.
Tukakov versus Brenner.
Yeah. Do you want
All
to start
right.
us off?
Yeah, I'll start it off. My prediction is gonna be Tukakov. I think he has really good striking. He's like really quick and he's has decent wrestling. And also, side note, he trains with Khabib and the boys, so I can't go against him at all. And I'm gonna say that he's going for a decision win.
Okay. Yeah. So my prediction on this one is I'm also taking Takakov. Is that how you say it? Takakov?
I have no idea. I don't know.
So yeah, I'm also taking him. But my reasons is a little bit different. I think that Brenner is not super great.
Okay.
So from watching the fights that he does have, his level of competition is really low.
Mm,
And that's a similar kind of feeling I have with a lot of these debut fighters.
yeah.
Their level of competition coming into it is very very low, and so I think somebody like Tukakov, who is very proficient and already like noted, right? Like he knows what he's doing. He's proven himself well enough. I think I just think it's too tall of a task to mount,
Yeah.
and I think the odds reflect that. Like being it's minus 625.
That's something I also should have looked into the odds for these fights.
Well, yeah, they're up on the UFC or
Yeah.
the ESPN page, so it's also pretty easy to quick reference. Um, but yeah, so I have him. I have Chikakov, and I have him winning by decision.
Cool.
I just think he's too much of he's too good of a wrestler. He's just gonna hold the ground for the rest of this fight.
Yeah, and the only fight that well, not the only fight that he lost, but one of the fights that I was watching over, it was weird because it felt like he won the fight. He was winning. It felt like he was winning 2 rounds to 1, but I don't think the judges liked that he was running away at the end of his one fight. But I don't know. I still feel like he shouldn't have even lost that one fight.
Okay. So I'm guessing you got Chikakov by decision as well.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, so Shane Young versus fucking Blake. Is that his name, Blake? Right?
Yeah, Blake Balder.
Yeah, Balder. So I'm taking Shane Young. Um,
Nice.
and I'm taking Shane Young because much like I said before with Brenner, Blake is his level of competition is really low. So him being 7-0 is like great, but the records of the people he was fighting are like 6-5.
Yeah.
And in his most recent fight, he took over in the second round. Like he was able to just take the person's back, and they just didn't know how to get him off.
Hmm.
But the first round, he got knocked down like 3 times in a row.
Jesus.
And he ended up winning that fight in the third by KO. But it looked like the dude was just super super gassed because he spent the entire second round on his feet, just carrying the weight of
Balder.
Balder. So I think he just kind of got really gassed, and in the third he just couldn't really do much, and so he ended up
Yeah.
losing. But in the first round, he knocked him down like 3 different times, and I think that's not a great showing. Um, he looked good on the Contender Series, but it's really hard to put a lot of stock into that.
Yeah.
Um, and with Young is not had the greatest run, but he's been fighting a much higher level competition, and also two, we've never seen like Blake go far into rounds, right?
Hmm.
And Young typically is gonna go like to a decision, so I'm curious to see like if cardio holds up.
Yeah.
So I also have Shane Young by decision.
Okay, so here's where we start to get interesting. I have Blake Bowder, and it's strict. It's pretty much on the sole basis that Shane Young hasn't looked great in his last two fights. He got knocked out in one of them, and then the other one, he just didn't look like you said. He's had a rough run in the UFC so far, and I don't think that he's going to. I just don't see him squeaking out a win in this fight, even though Blake, like you said, hasn't had the greatest competition before his UFC debut. And I'm gonna say that he's gonna win by knockout.
Okay. I'm curious to see where that goes then. Next one coming up. You want to start that one off?
Yeah, so Loma Luke Bunmi versus Elise Reed. I have Luke Bunmi. Um, she has like really crisp striking, and the last fight. So in her previous fights, she's been kind of dominated on the ground, but her last fight that she had, it was like a completely different fighter. She had ground control like pretty much the entire fight, and when they were on the feet, she was outstriking her opponent. So I'm gonna say that that's gonna go to a decision, and I feel like how it's gonna play out, it's gonna be a lot of ground control by Loma.
Okay. So I also have Loma by decision. Um, I just think though their records seem similar, the gap in skill is too high.
Yeah,
I think like putting it in a nice way. I think that Loma has just shown, much like you said, a better evolution in the game in her game, as where Reed has kind of just been the same and nothing extremely like standout. She's not bad. She's just not super impressive.
yeah.
Um, and so I just don't think that she can pull it out. So I'm taking Luma by decision. And I think the odds reflect this in the same way.
Yeah, they do.
Luma minus 300 is pretty clear. I'll take the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jack versus Don. I think this one's really fun. Because they're both just really heavy-handed. They win by knockout or they lose. That's essentially how their careers have been so far. I think that they both have a similar idea. The difference is though that Jack has really good, or I don't want to call it really good, but he does have like a strong takedown threat,
Yeah.
and Don has zero submission threat.
Mhm.
So I think that Jack's going to be able to wrestle pretty much uncontested. And if he is able to get him down, I don't think that Don has a way to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually going to take Jack by knockout. He's going to be the first finish of the night.
Well, I don't think he's going to be the first finish of the night. But I do agree with you. I think because of the takedown threat, I think he's going to set him up for a big punch in my opinion. I think he's going to rock him, and I also am going with Jack Jenkins with a KO for
Nice.
that fight.
You want to take the first fight of the normal prelims, not the early?
Yeah, so that's Jamie Malarkey versus Francisco Prado.
Yes, sir.
I'm going with Francisco Prado, and this one was kind of hard for me because
Oh,
I kind of like Malarkey, and we watched the fight together,
yeah.
his fight with Michael Johnson, and I thought that he looked really good in that fight. But I think the edge goes to Francisco just because he's coming off two knockout wins and he's currently undefeated.
So this is where we differ massively. Actually, Francisco is a massive underdog in this one, so I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, Malarkey is minus 280, but that's not actually why I'm picking him at all. I'm actually picking Malarkey to win because Francisco's. I don't know how to say this without being really, really rude. Francisco's 11-0 is the most padded thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Looking at I don't think in his last like 4 opponents, any of them had a win.
You serious?
I swear to God. I was looking. It's like very clear. Like watching his fights was so clear that like he has skill, but the people he's fighting are so under his level.
He's taking that boxing route, dude.
Yeah. I think he's going to come into the UFC and Malarkey is going to literally rip his head off. I have Malarkey by knockout, and I don't even think it's going to be close.
No, man, I'm telling you,
Because
Francisco's gonna come in and he's gonna rock the shit out of Malarkey, and it's gonna be really great.
no, you're out of your fucking mind.
No, because trust me, just trust me, bro. It's bro science, trust me.
Yeah, there's some fucking science there. You're insane, dude. I think Malarkey is literally gonna just come in there and piece the shit out of him. I think Malarkey's gonna be a whole nother level, man. He might not like look not great against some of like the higher caliber, but this is a whole different level. I don't even think this dude. I think, and I don't. Maybe this is wrong, but like Francisco being in the UFC with the level that he's faced so far, I think is really weird. I don't know how he got contracted.
There's a lot of people like that in the UFC. Did I say? I don't know if I said. Did I say that I had Francisco by knockout?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just had to make sure. Just had to make sure that I throw that in. He's winning by knockout.
Yeah, you're out of your fucking mind.
100%.
You're out of your fucking mind. Yeah, no, there's no way. I don't know how he got contracted when we have so many things like the Contender Series and shit like that to vet this. That's insane.
Dude, it's because he's the same, what is it? Same beast, different animal?
Yeah, I don't know. You're fucking nuts. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, so Shannon Ross versus Clayton Rodriguez. I think Clayton Rodriguez is going to take this by knockout. When I watch his fight, dude, he's super fast and like he's super accurate. I think his one fight, I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong on this, but I think the one fight that I watched that he had in the UFC, I think he lost. Not 100% sure, but he just looked really sharp in it, and I think that he's going to stick this one out, and I think he's going to win by KO just because of how sharp and fast he is.
So I like Rodriguez a lot. And I don't think Ross is that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everything that you're saying in terms of him being very, very fast. I agree with, pretty much everything you're saying. I don't think he's going to win by knockout.
Okay.
I have him to win by decision. I just don't. I don't think that.
You don't think he has the power? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't think the power's there. I don't think that Ross is that. Like, I don't think his chin's that weak.
Yeah, he's a big head, dude.
Yeah, it's massive. And so like I just don't see it happening. I think he's going to dominate the fight the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think he gets the finish.
Unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Sick.
This one's really, really, really fun.
I love this fight. I love this fight a lot.
Okay, so I am gonna just cut right to the chase here. I love this fight. Fucking Klebo? How do you say his name? Josh
Klebo, I think.
Klebo?
Yeah,
Whatever.
I think so.
So when he fought Sangwoo Choi,
Oh my god, that was a banger.
That was crazy. I was not expecting that to happen. I will openly admit I bet for Choi.
Me too.
I
remember going into that.
Yo, I was like, Choi is
gonna
that fucking guy. And he showed up hard. I think he's very, very talented and his wins look good. That being said, Melsik, whatever, dude.
Melsik Bagdasaryan.
Yeah, fuck all that last name. But Melsik is nutty. That dude's just fucking fun. His head movement's fun. He's just so good. That man is a beast. And I'm taking him to win by knockout.
Oh, my God.
Also, my other reason why is that statistically speaking, southpaws have the edge.
Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Statistically speaking. And so, southpaw versus orthodox, they're both strikers. but they're both super slick. I'm taking Meslick, dude.
All right, so we are gonna differ here. Melsick, I think, is really good. I think he's an absolute stud. But I think Josh is an even bigger stud. He's a scrapper, and his only loss is to Jalen Turner. And
That's
Jalen
a
Turner is
yeah.
kind of
That's good.
that dude's a machine.
Yeah, that guy's good.
So I'm gonna say, and even in that fight, he had his moments. So everything that I've seen from Josh, it just makes me think I have so much faith and belief in this kid. I think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be by knockout. Don't think it's gonna be by submission. It's gonna be a decision. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a split decision. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a really, really close fight.
I'm really really excited for this. This might be my favorite fight of
Yeah, I
like
think it's gonna be
the
the fight of the
not
night.
made card. It's really really fun. I think this one's cool. I think it's definitely a pick. I mean, it could definitely go either way.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm taking my boy. Plus, you know, the only thing that makes me want to change is that the dude is New Zealand, and so you know he has home crowd energy.
yeah, he's cool as hell too.
He's a good dude. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, so Tyson Pedro versus Modestas Bukauskas.
Did you like research
Um,
how to pronounce these names?
huh?
Did you
What
like
happened?
Research how to pronounce these names? Normally, I'm pretty good at
No,
it, but I am fucking
I'm
the
trying
bed
my
right now.
hardest, man. I'm trying my
You're,
hardest.
dude, you're
I need
carrying
to
the
get
boat
that
because
I need to get the Slavic side on my side. Um
I can't say any of
so
this.
unfortunately though, I'm going with Tyson Pedro, which is the opposite of trying to get them on my side. The only reason I'm going for this is because Bukowskis is coming off of a really, 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 really bad knee injury. That knee injury is kind of like career threatening, in my opinion. I don't know if you saw it. I'm pretty sure you did.
Hmm.
It was against Kilo Roundtree. That was like the nastiest oblique kick I've ever seen in my
Oh,
life.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
shit was so bad.
it was disgusting. And I watched it, and it was honestly, that was like one of the scariest stoppages to a fight just because of you just heard him scream. You just heard him scream because his like leg
Yeah,
exploded, like
that
his knee
one's rough.
exploded. So I don't think I can't I don't feel right choosing him to win. That's a really hard injury to come back from. And Tyson Pedro has also looked decent as of late. So I'm gonna take Tyson Pedro in a decision. I think it's gonna be close, but I just don't think that he's gonna come back with that from that knee injury. I don't think it's gonna be good for him.
So, I have similar, you know, opinions, but I'm taking the end result a little different. I also have Tyson. I have him by knockout, and the reason I have that is because he is on a run right now. He's looking sharper.
Yeah,
And the much like the injury you talked about, I think mobility is going to be limited. And also, too, just judging by the record, he's lost most of his fights in the UFC. Left, did some stuff in what was it, Cage Warriors, I think. Uh,
probably.
Let me check my notes. I have it here. Um, yeah. So yeah, Cage Warriors. He did some stuff in Cage Warriors, came back, and then, you know, got his leg destroyed. And so it's like
So
I just
disgusting.
don't think it's in your cards, man.
Yeah.
And so I think that when cards like this happen, I think finishes like start to kind of pop off, and so I think the trend's going to continue. I think he's getting knocked.
He's getting knocked the F out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting knocked out, bro.
He's getting knocked. Man down.
Yeah, man down, man down. I'll take the next one.
Okay.
Uh, so Jimmy Crute. Uh, I I think he's pretty good. He's on a
He's pretty
two.
good.
He's got it. He's on a two fight like loss streak. But if you look at who he lost to, it was Anthony Smith and to
Yep.
Jamal Hill, and both of them are incredibly good.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's like any like sure they were bad losses, but I don't think you come out of that thinking negatively of Jimmy Crute.
Hmm.
Um, and also with that, I don't think that Minfield. I don't think that he's really to that level yet.
Yeah.
And so I think also I didn't really see a lot of great like ground like anything really from Mansfield having to do with like ground defense and stuff.
Yeah.
So I actually think, and maybe this is a little out there. I think Crute
Uh-oh.
is gonna come out,
Uh-oh.
wrestle.
Uh-oh.
He's gonna take the back and he's gonna rear naked choke him. I'm going Crute by decision, by submission.
I'm going crew by rear naked decision.
he's gonna make him. He's gonna make him be like, nah, we're done.
All right, we're done. Round 3 over.
Yeah, just count it over. Speed up the
All
timer.
right, so this is where I'm going with this. All right, so I disagree with you.
Only submission on the card, boys.
And I also disagree with that. You'll see. So I think that Jimmy Crute, I like him a lot. I think he's really good. And like you said, I have this in my notes as well. The only fights that he's lost is one to the current champion right now in Hill, and to it's Anthony Smith, right? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Anthony Smith.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
You know my name yet?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, those are two absolute studs in the division. Those guys are like, in my opinion, we all know Anthony Smith should be fighting for the belt. Just saying, but
He should. Rest in peace.
with
to
that being
ankle.
said, with Menafield, like you said, like he hasn't been fighting like cream of the crop yet, but he has been nuking people as of late, and I think he's gonna do the same exact thing. And I honestly think it's because I don't know how long ago they fought, but Jimmy Crute is coming off of a KO by Hill. I think he's gonna get knocked out again, man. This Menafield guy, he has crazy power, and while he might not have the ground game, I think he's gonna have the ability to stay away from it, and I think he's gonna smoke Jimmy Crute. I think he's gonna knock him out.
All right, we'll see if I get the rear naked choke prediction. I just think
right.
his ground game is not going to be good enough. I think as soon as he gets taken down, he's gonna give up the back trying to get up.
That's the whole thing. He's just not gonna get taken down. He's just gonna stand up.
Nah, I don't believe you. All right. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll take the next one. All right.
I got a lot to say on this one.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot to say on this one, but what I have to say is kind of funny, and it's very, very, very biased. So Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter. I have Justin Tafa, and it's strictly because I don't like Parker Porter at all. I hate Parker Porter with a passion, and there's nothing that he's done for me to hate him like that. I just don't like him, and I think that he's super overrated. Like, they're talking about his wrestling, and sure, his wrestling is good. He would probably smoke me, but that doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean much at all. But just because of that whole, he's such a good wrestler. Justin Tafa, who I think is primarily just like a striker, he's gonna rear naked choke him.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Justin Tafa's gonna win by submission.
So here's my thing. I also hate Parker Porter. But the reason I hate him is not because of people talking about it. Every goddamn fight is so boring. It's him again. In my notes, I literally have that Parker Porter is the gatekeeper of the lower class heavyweight fighters.
This is on the main card too, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is crazy. I don't understand how how he's above Jimmy Crute, but whatever.
So, yeah, I have that Parker Porter is one, which is such a funny name for such a fat dude.
It really is.
But
like
anyway,
Porky
I literally
Porter.
have him as the lower class gatekeeper of like heavyweight fighters. Like, everyone he fights, if you look at his record, is like, as soon as you enter the UFC, if you're like on a loss streak and they're trying to get rid of you, they send you to Parker Porter, or they get like, he was given like Chris Dawkins and stuff like that, where it's just like, hey, go like fuck this guy up.
Yeah.
Like, all of his fights are so uninteresting to watch because he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And he's always fighting somebody who, like, the UFC is trying to cut. So
Trying to cut or trying to like feed
or give a knockout
Parker
too.
Porter. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so it's like they're either trying to get him knocked out or trying to get somebody cut, and I think it's Justin's time to get cut. So I think that's why they handed him to the Porkster. And
Porkster.
yeah, I have Parker
Oh
by
yeah.
decision because I
Dude,
don't.
he's gonna submit the shit out of him. I don't know what you're talking about.
In my notes, I don't think they are good, but I think Tifa doesn't have what it takes to do more than just swing.
Tifa, Queen Latifah, yeah.
Yeah, I have. I don't think he has more than it takes to do more than just swing. Parker by decision.
What, you have Parker by decision?
Yeah. I think it's gonna be one of those days, man.
Oh,
Dude, no, because Justin sucks.
listen. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All he knows how to do
He's
is.
gonna hold him against the side of the cage for fucking 15 minutes, and
Oh my
and
god.
Justin doesn't know
And
how to.
Justin's gonna get him in a body lock, and he's gonna submit him. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're right. He's just gonna squeeze real hard.
Yeah, he's gonna squeeze really hard.
All right.
All right,
You want to go to
you
the?
got this one.
Oh, I got this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's the fucking boy Jack Della Mansla or whatever the fuck, and Randy Brown.
It's the boy.
I think the odds kind of speak for themselves here. A minus 330.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Jack is just way too fucking good. Dude's a fucking machine. I have him literally in my notes. I just have knockout demon.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
The biggest threat my path to victory for Randy Brown is that he has to get like deep into the third because we've never seen Jack really there, and
Yeah.
just hope that Jack doesn't have cardio.
Yeah.
I think for 2 minutes it's about to just be hell for Randy Brown, and he's got to pray that Jack's cardio sucks dick in the third.
Yeah.
I think it's very. I think everyone has the same bet, right? It's Jack by knockout.
On the contrary, my brother. Just kidding. So when I had originally looked at this fight, I originally picked Randy Brown just because of how confident he's been during this entire camp, during this entire week. I really, really thought that he was gonna win, right? But then I remembered who he's going against, and I watched Jack's fights again, and his last 3 are by knockout.
Yeah,
His last 3 are by knockout.
dude's a fucking demon.
Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure they're all in the first round too.
Yes.
So
that's why I have, if Randy can make it to the third, we can just pray that Jack's cardio sucks. But outside of that,
yeah,
we
that's-
literally.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm also gonna go with Jack by knockout. Like you said though, if it gets out of the second round, somehow, I honestly think it would swing in favor of Randy Brown. That's like his only path to victory, in my opinion. But Jack's knocking him out, dude. Jack's knocking him out.
That being said, I didn't really notice this too much, but the reach advantage for Randy Brown is like kind of nuts. It's like a solid 5 inches.
Yeah, he's also.
He's also 6'3", so that's.
I was about to say, yeah, he's 6'3", and Jack's like 5'11", so I mean
Yeah.
that would play part into it. So it'll be a hard fight, but I think it's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah, I think Jack has it. I think the odds show it. I think everyone kind of just knows that that's the reality.
Yeah,
All right. Do you want the next one?
yeah, I will take this. Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. I have to go against my kind, man. Even though I'm not Mexican, I am Hispanic. I have to go against Yair Rodriguez. I'm going with Josh Emmett. I honestly think that Emmett lost his last fight against Qatar, or Cater. I
thought he won that.
He did win, but I'm saying like in my head.
Oh,
I
you think he lost?
I think
Got
he
it,
lost
got
that
it, got it,
fight.
got it,
Like
got it.
watching that, I watched that fight, and I watched that fight. I think like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, he lost. But with that being said, he has a ton of power, and he used to be a lightweight. So him coming down to featherweight, his power is just different. Like in his fight with Cater, every punch that he was landing was doing significant damage to Cater, and he was reacting to it a lot. I think that's honestly why he won the fight, because other than that, he was getting pieced up the entire fight. But he's a dog, and his power really is different. And honestly, with Yair, he had that whole like suspension thing. Not that that really means anything, in in my opinion at least. But like he had, I think it was a 2-year layoff, and he goes into a fight with Max Holloway, loses considerably, in my opinion. And
Hmm.
then he has the fight with Brian Ortega that wasn't even a fight. That was marked as a knockout win or like a TKO, which I think is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. It should have
Doctor
just been a no
stoppages count.
contest.
Nah, doctor stoppages even count as TKOs. To be fair,
Eh, okay, that makes sense
well,
then.
because injuries in the cage still count.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
yeah.
Um,
But
so
that being said, I don't think that he's proven himself since he's come back um, to the UFC. So I think that Josh Emmett's gonna win. And even though I was really harping on Emmett's power, I really think this is gonna be a decision win for Emmett.
So my thing is that with Josh Emmett, I think Emmett's a fucking beast.
Yeah,
Uh, I I did not think that I didn't think that this was going to be like an interim match originally. I wanted it to be Emmett versus Allen.
yeah,
But Yair got it. But that being said, my biggest takeaway isn't even the power. I think that Emmett has the ability to trade with Rodriguez. But the
hmm
reality is, if Max could wrestle him, Emmett's gonna ragdoll him.
yeah,
Uh, I
exactly.
feel like nobody's talking about that. Josh is gonna grab him and throw him 90 yards. If Max was able to take him down and keep him there in order to win, like a clear decision, I think Emmett can do it. Probably could do it much better. Uh, I think Yair could survive. I
Yeah,
don't think that he can do much more. Now, if Josh never tries to take it to the ground, then absolutely, I think Yair wins. Just his striking is so crisp.
clean
That
man, he's slick.
Yeah. So I think if they don't really mix it up at all, then sure. If it's like a pure boxing match or like kickboxing match, I think Yair can absolutely knock him out or win. I just don't think that's the fight we're about to have.
Yeah, I think
Um,
he's gonna ragdoll him, and he's also gonna crack him a ton, in my opinion, just because of that threat of his
yeah,
takedown.
I think in the first round we see him shoot within the first minute. He's gonna hold him down, and from that point on, then he'll start throwing hands.
Yeah, what are the odds on this?
Uh, they actually Emmett is the underdog at
Yeah, because that's what I'm seeing on my side too, and
yeah
I just
plus
like
60.
I don't see it. I don't know.
I think it's because Yair's flashier and he's got a larger name. The problem with
Yeah,
Emmett is that he's
that's
so
that's what I
good.
think too. Is I honestly don't even think that he should have that. Like you said, like you thought it should have been like Allen versus Emmett. I honestly don't even think that he should have gotten this fight. Like I honestly think that he got the fight just on his name alone.
Yeah, I mean he's flashier. He's a big star. Like Allen and even Emmett, they're kind of in like the how would I describe, like the Leon Edward effect, where it's like they're really really good, but nobody's talking about them.
Yeah,
And so in order to get that shot takes so much longer. I think if Yair didn't get that knockout, like that elbow knockout clip,
yeah,
I don't
against
I
Korean
yeah,
Zombie.
yeah, I don't think he's here today.
Yeah, exactly.
Um but
All right,
yeah,
man.
main event,
Lead us off, man.
massive odds, minus 400 favorite for Islam Makhachev. And I'm going to say this right now. In the card that's happening in the land down under, I think Islam is going down under. I have Alexander, the goddamn GOAT, taking on one long ass 5-round decision.
That
He's a fucking beast, and you can't count out Alexander, the fucking GOAT.
yeah. I so let me preface this by saying everything is pointing me to Islam winning. Like everything. Like they're like I just don't. This dude just drags people to the depths of hell, and he just keeps them there
They can't go to
for
hell. They're already in the land down under.
exactly, man. So, with that being said, even though everything's pointing me to Islam, Volk's gonna win this. Decision King, man. That's my boy. There's no way that he's gonna lose in front of his home crowd. There's just no way. He's gonna thwart the wrestling, and he's gonna piece him up, man. He may even leg lock him. He may even leg lock him because he's been working with Craig Jones.
I don't think that's going
So,
to matter. I don't think that means shit.
he may even leg lock him, but that's besides the point. He's not finishing Islam. It's gonna be Alexander Volkanovski, the decision king. He's gonna go out with a decision unanimously. Not even split. Unanimously.
Yeah, I think Volk gets it by decision. I think it's very fair that Islam is coming in the massive favorite.
Yeah, very fair.
Especially with him being up the weight class. I think if it was down at 145, there's no way in hell Islam has a chance.
Dude, Islam's not even making that weight. He's gonna be like a skeleton on the wheelchair at 45.
Yeah, like if that was the case, I don't think Islam would stand a chance at all. Like you said, I don't think he could even make the weight. But at 155, I think it's a very very difficult challenge for Volkanovski. He even acknowledges that.
Yeah.
And I think Islam is the safest bet. Like he's minus 400 for a reason.
Yeah.
But I just think the resume speaks for itself. I talked about this today actually earlier. I think Volk has the Conor McGregor effect. He's not the same level of star, but when Conor was on his rise, everything just worked.
Yeah.
No matter what it seemed like, it just happened. And I think Volk has that same thing. Like, look at his trajectory.
I know.
Aldo, Holloway, like his recent fights with Ortega. Look at what he did to the Korean Zombie. It was
that was like
sad.
the saddest fight to watch in my entire life, man.
It was depressing.
Outside of obviously the Holloway one, because Holloway's my favorite fighter. That last fight was bad, man. It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close.
And like even his last fight with Holloway,
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
it was bad.
His last fight with Holloway, his fight with the Korean Zombie made me want to stop watching because I just felt so bad watching it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was so just sad.
And it's crazy because it's like I don't think that he has knockout power, but man, the volume, he just keeps on coming, and like you can't stop it, man. He's really precise. He's really accurate. He has these twitch feints that, that gym that he trains out of is like kind of like notoriously known for.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just don't see. He always finds a way to win. I think he's gonna do the same thing in this fight.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be Jord. I think that obviously the angle of Islam just taking him to the ground,
and strangling him.
Yeah, is gonna be real. There. And it's a very real possibility. Islam's power is insane, right? So the fact that he could just grab him and hold him down there, and there's not going to be anything Volk can do, he's just so much smaller.
Yeah.
Is a real possibility. But Volk just has this way.
He has that it factor, man.
Yeah, it just works. He just has an answer.
And it's crazy, and I kind of feel bad, man, because I was always counting him out just because I'm such a Holloway fan. But I've turned. I'm a Volkanovski fan too. You know what I mean? I can love both, unfortunately. Man, he's just it. He really is. The one thing that I will say is that Islam does have crazy strength. Like DC has said that, like when he's practiced with Islam, like Islam has some crazy squeeze. So if he gets a hold of him and he puts him in something, it might be pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it comes down to like Islam's a favorite for a reason. I think that obviously it totally makes sense to go with Islam. I think that it's the safest bet. It's the smartest bet. But And maybe like, betting with my brain would be like, oh, just pick Islam. But man, I just have this feeling it's so hard to go against Volk after what he's proved he can do.
Yeah.
And as cliche as it sounds, like the work that he puts in is real. Like we hear every other fighter say like, yeah, I work hard or I put in work or whatever. But like when Volk says no one works harder than him, and like I'm confident because I've put in the work, like he's the only fighter that I take that at face value and I'm like, oh, he's right.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it.
Like his cardio's just too insane.
Yeah. He's a
And
machine.
yeah, like that man, he's not human.
No.
I refuse to believe he's human. That dwarf is a power that needs to be stopped. When Volk dies, we need to study his body for science.
Yeah, I know, man.
Hope that man's an organ
Crazy.
donor.
I hope not, man.
But yeah, so that's gonna be the run. So that's our prediction list. I'm curious to see how it goes, what the end results will look like. For this like little series that we're gonna do, we want to do kind of a point system. So for each prediction we get right, both winner and finish, it'll be worth 1 point for each. So let us know, anyone that ends up watching this, if you think that we should do like bonuses or like prizes or something for whoever gets the most points, or some form of like challenge or trial or something like that for whoever gets the least, and we'll kind of record that and throw that in at the ending of each following episode or something like that. We're still working out how we might want to do that, so any suggestions would be appreciated.
Yep.
All right, I think that's gonna do it, man.
Make sure to like, subscribe, put that notification bell, and don't forget to follow us at Deep End MMA on Instagram as well. I don't know if we have a Twitter.
I didn't make one.
You should make a Twitter. You're the tweet man. I'm the Instagram guy.
Oh shit. I forgot we even do socials. I wasn't prepared to plug shit.
You gotta make the plugs, man. I'll be posting some stuff during the fight. Whoever wins, I'll drop a little picture of them for the main card, and my thoughts on the fight. You got anything else, man?
Nah, yeah. I mean, if anything, if you guys want to watch along, we'll be on the Instagram page as we're going. But outside of that, yeah, I think that's it.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys.
All right.